Hey everybody, Mel Bell here. So I wanted to talk today about love versus fear. I'm just gonna burn a little Palo Santo here to raise my own vibration. So this whole subject has come up a lot for me in the last few days on social media. Ended up talking to somebody about it. A Lyft driver actually was talking to me about it, and also noticed a lot of conversations being had about politics. Um, this is going to be a politic-free space. So I don't want to, I want to be inclusive of everybody, so I'm not going to discuss politics as far as who is better, who we should vote for, and all of that. But it is very clear that people are choosing based on fear. People are very fearful about who is going to be chosen, and people are very concerned what the future holds. What is it going to mean depending on who ends up having the presidency? And also just being the front runner or whatever. Um, and I wanted to just talk about how the media will purposely describe events and situations in very emotionally charged ways and very fearful ways, very life or death kind of ways. And that it's very important for us as individuals to not allow the media to control our narrative in our lives, and not let the media decide for us what our perception of reality is going to be. And I feel like a lot of that is going on right now, where the media is controlling everybody's narrative of life. And it's one thing to be afraid, it's one thing to be fearful, it's another thing to be cautious. You can stay in a place of love and still protect yourself and still be cautious. It's not one or the other. You don't have to give up love. You don't have to give up choosing out of love in order to be safe. That is an illusion. I did write some things down so that I could make sure that we talked about everything. So I wanted to point out that, if you watch the news is often pretty heavy and bad news stories. And every once in a while you will get a news story. Oh, this was good. This good thing happened, and it's supposed to kind of balance things out. But really, we don't get a full balance. When you watch the news, it tends to be very negative and very heavy, and about a lot of horrible things that are happening. But that is not the reality. The reality is there's good news happening every day that we don't hear about. And it is easier for for whoever is in control. I am a little bit of a conspiracy theorist, and I shouldn't say a little bit, but I do believe that there are people in control of controlling the masses and wanting us to stay in a state of fear and a state of survival so that we do not come together and just love everybody, love one another. We are purposely divided so that doesn't happen. And that has been going on since ancient Egypt. Back in ancient Egypt, the slaves would even be told stories, like different areas would be told stories about other slaves, and they would fight amongst each other. And that was so that they did not come together and uprise against the Pharaoh. So this is, what is that song? Beauty and the Beast, story as old as time. This manipulation technique is old as time. As far back as you can go, the people in power have been doing things to keep people in a fearful state because they are easier to be controlled if they are afraid. If you are afraid of what's going to happen to your children, what's going to happen to your home, your car, your body, you will make decisions based off of fear, and people are able to manipulate you and make you fearful. And so it's a psychological game. It is a manipulation on your mind and conditioning. So keeping that in mind, we have to start being very conscious about what we're being told, what information we're being fed, what is the reality, and where are we making our choices from? Are we choosing based from our heart, or are we choosing based from our fear? And that is like the wounded mind is where we will make choices based out of fear. The ego is where we make choices based out of fear. And people, there are powers that be that will purposely play upon those fears, and they consistently do it in clever ways and not so clever ways, in very blatant ways. But people are so used to being manipulated in that way that they don't even realize they're being manipulated. I wanted to talk about the coronavirus because that's another good example of fear and love and caution. So basically the coronavirus is basically like the flu, except for it develops in the lungs. And in order to test somebody early for the coronavirus, you have to check their lungs. And I'm not going to get into where it came from. I know there's been some things that have come out about it. What I wanted to point out is that, like, I knew people or know people who survived the swine flu and they got it. And no, they didn't die, but it was a horrible thing, and they felt horrible, and they wish they had never experienced it. So the difference between fear and caution is, and self-preservation even, is that you don't have to be afraid that everybody's going to die to boost your immune system. Be aware, be self-aware that there is this virus that has come to the United States, and that you have to be careful, and that it's flu season anyway, so maybe you just get the regular flu and that jacks you up. We should be doing things to boost our immune system, not based out of fear, but based out of self-preservation, based on wisdom, and not based because we're afraid that we're going to get the coronavirus and it's going to kill us. Because it's very possible that if you ever did get the coronavirus, that you would survive it. Doesn't mean that you want to get it. Who wants to get it? Nobody wants to get it. But keeping in mind that we don't know how this is going to spread. The peak of this contagion isn't until March. So we haven't seen the peak of it. And so that being said, we need to work on boosting our immune systems. And that is not fear. Okay? So when we make choices based on love, making choices based on taking care of our families and making that big pot of soup with immune boosting things in it, and being focused on that, and washing your hands more and not touching your face a lot when you're out and about in the city, making sure that you're not touching your face, and when you get somewhere where you can, wash your hands. These are just things that you should do to care and show love and care to yourself and to your family. These are not fearful acts. And good news. Good news, a couple was found after a week. They're an elderly couple. They were in the woods for a week and they were found alive, and they survived. That's good news, right? There's good news every day. There's actually a website called Sunny Skies, and they post nothing but good news stories every day. So you can always check for yourself and see that there are good things happening in the world every single day. And you have to question why our media is they so often lean against the horrible news, because there are horrible things happening every day as well. But we don't know what the balance is, really, because of the way the media chooses to feed us. And I think it's really important that we do not allow anybody to feed us our reality. We should be checking in our heart center. We should be checking in with our intuition and questioning, where am I being controlled, and where am I making my choices from? Okay? We want to make sure that the choices that we're making, as far as what media outlets we're watching, and what kind of stories that we're hearing, all sources of social media, what are they feeding us, and what are we sitting at the table for? What are we eating? You know, if metaphorically speaking, like, is someone serving you a plate of garbage, or are they serving you a very healthy salad? Like, and what are you eating? Are you just eating what they place in front of you, or are you saying, I don't want that? Actually, matter of fact, I got some nice fixings for a salad at home. Never mind. Just pull back from the table. I'm just gonna go make myself something. And that's how we should be looking at it, is I am feeding myself love. I am not eating the fear that is being served to me, because that is what is happening. Now, let's get on a little bit of a conspiracy theory kick here for a minute and talk about what would the world look like. Let's just bring it down to the United States. What would the United States look like if everybody was able to come to a common ground, and or maybe the majority of people could come to a common ground, and we did not hate each other based on things that are different about us? What could we accomplish? What would we demand from our government? Because our government steals money from us all the time. We put money into Social Security and they borrow from it and never pay us back. They never pay it back. And then they say, we're gonna go ahead and cut, we have to cut Social Security. Why do you have to? You know, that's my money. We just put that money in. And why is it that this has been going on for so many years, and we have allowed it from our government? It's because we stay divided. And by staying divided, we cannot do anything. We're too busy fighting against each other. And that is choosing based on fear. That person being helped is going to hurt me, when the reality of the universe is there is an abundance of everything for everybody. There is enough to go around. The illusion is that there isn't enough to go around, and that is a lie. It's a falsehood. There is enough for everyone, for everyone to be fed, for everyone to be sheltered. There is a there are people that don't want to do that. They don't want people to be enlightened, uplifted, and feel free, and have self-actualization, because then we won't be asking someone to lead us because we're afraid. And so that's our reality. That is our reality. There is a manipulation consistently going on every single day in your life to keep you in a state of fear. But it is your choice as an individual to check in with yourself and make your choices and your thoughts based in love. And that does not mean that you can't be cautious and protect yourself. It just means that you are coming from a place of love and not fear. So when you step out and you walk into a dangerous neighborhood, that doesn't mean because I'm going to walk in a state of love that I'm just going to I'm just going to look up at the sky and everything's wonderful. No, I'm going to look straight ahead, and I'm going to make eye contact with people, and I'm going to make sure they see that I see them, because that's how you stay safe in a dangerous neighborhood. You are aware. You are not a target. You're a target when you are not paying attention or when you're looking down at your phone. So that's smart. That's not fearful. That's smart. So being aware of darkness and negativity in the world is not being fearful. You can still be in a place of love and be a warrior of your own space, of your own self, of your family. You can still protect yourself. And so that being said, it's important for us to be very close to our higher powers. It's important for us to clear our energy field, to remove attachments that may be draining our energy, to keep our auras clean, our chakras clear. All of that's not just fluff. We have an energetic body, and we experience the world in energetic ways as well as physical ways. So it's not one or the other, it's both together. And so just make the choice. Choose love. Choose love in your everyday. We don't have anybody out there who's able to measure what's winning. Is it fear or is it love? I think that love is having a harder time. It's always the negative that's the loudest. So it may seem like fear is winning, but it might also be that fear is louder. Negativity is louder. Doesn't mean that love is not there. But every day that you make the choice to choose love, you are raising the vibration of the planet. You are helping to change things for all of us. So I'm going to go ahead and pull a card from this deck because love and fear sounds like a good topic to pull a card from Archangel Michael's deck, and let's see what he has to say. Eventually I'm going to have a better setup here so that you guys can see me. It's not so easy for me to shuffle like this, but I want you guys to see that I'm actually shuffling the deck and I'm not pulling cards that I want to see that match my message. And so I'm holding it up very awkwardly like this. So Archangel Michael, please give us a card to close out this conversation. And while I wait for that card to come up to the surface, is there anything more that I want to say about that? Be cautious in your everyday life. Take care of yourself and your family. When you have anxiety and you have anxious feelings, it helps to have concrete actions. What are you going to do if someone tries to rob you? You know, do you know self-defense? Have you gone to a self-defense class? Because there's a lot of martial arts places that have self-defense classes that they give for free. There's one in my city. So having anxiety about the world being a dangerous place is not necessarily based in fear, but by learning self-defense, it can really make you feel stronger and more prepared, and hope that you never have to use it, but to have it can make you feel more secure in yourself and your ability to protect yourself. Getting a hold of your anxiety, whatever that means. When I say whatever that means, I mean if it's you getting on an herbal supplement or going to the doctor and getting some medication, starting to do meditation, or maybe get into the gym, helps you burn off some of that anxious energy, or yoga. Whatever you end up doing to get yourself to a place of wellness so that you can choose love. Because when it comes to mental health, it's hard. It's really hard to just choose love. It sounds great, doesn't it? It sounds wonderful, but it's a lot of work, especially if your mind is working against you. And so it's important that you address things like that. And you know, get a physical, go to the doctor, find out what your vitamin levels look like. And my anxiety was the worst when I was really low on magnesium. When I got my magnesium up, my anxiety reduced greatly. And I take tension tamer tea from Celestial Seasonings. That really helps racing thoughts. And I have a nighty-night tea that has valerian in it, which is also very helpful for peaceful sleep. I drink chamomile tea sometimes at work when I feel anxiety coming on. Some of my anxiety is situational, like giving a presentation will raise my anxiety pretty high, but chamomile really helps with that. So, okay, focus, focus, focus. We're looking at 23 minutes. Good. I'm not going on too long, and I'm happy for that. So there we go. Interesting. Okay, so check this out. Self-respect. Hello. Self-respect. Huh. I'm going to read that. And I want to take a moment to just say that I am a universalist in the way of, if I say God, I'm talking about God, and God is Jesus, God, and Buddha, and Ganesh, and Kuan Yin, and all them, okay? So I welcome everybody. So this says, Dear God and angels, thank you for helping me see myself as you see me through the eyes of love. Thank you for honoring and respecting me. Please guide me to do the same for myself and grant me the courage to speak up on my own behalf. I ask for your protection in all my relationships so that I am surrounded by loving and kind people. And so just take a minute to sit with that message. And self-respect is self-protection. You respect yourself. You're not going to put yourself in situations with people that are going to abuse you in any way. And, you know, we're going into a more personal relationship thing, not a situational running into strangers kind of thing. Respecting yourself and loving yourself is about choosing who you're going to allow in your circle and what you're going to allow people to do. And yeah, so really think about that. That's also choosing out of love and not fear, because we will keep people in our lives that should not be in our lives because we are afraid of being alone. We're afraid of, for a really good example that I'm going to keep names out of here, but I know somebody who is disabled, and there is a person that was taking them to their doctor's appointments, and they were holding it over their head. They were treating them a certain way. They had expectations of how they wanted to be treated in order to take care of this person. And there's the fear that here I am disabled, and if I tell this person no, I might not be able to get to my doctor's appointment. I can't afford to pay for a cab every time I need to go. And then there is the love that's saying, I should not be treated this way. And I love myself, and I don't want to allow this to be done to me. And you have to have faith that there are higher beings loving and supporting you, and the angels in the universe will make a way. When you say, I'm not going to engage in this relationship based on the fact that I need this from this person, another way will be made. You will not be left alone. And that is the fear that you'll be left alone, that is inauthentic. And as long as you're staying close to your higher powers and keeping yourself clear of negativity, and as long as you're keeping your nose clean and you're not doing anything negative, then you can count on receiving that insistence that you need. And sometimes you can't be there for everybody. On a whole nother level, you cannot always be there for people every time they need you, but you can say, the angels are going to make a way for someone else to be there for them. And it happens. You can look back and reflect at a time that you couldn't help somebody, and something happened where someone came along and helped them for you because you couldn't. So you can always love and respect yourself first, and trust that the divine beings, the higher powers that be, will make sure that everybody is taken care of when they need to be taken care of. So I'm going to leave it at that. I think this was a really good, very good message here to close it out. God sees us through the eyes of love. And that is a choice. That is a choice. And we can make that choice as well. Okay, take care. Brightest blessings.